The young cub rushes out hungrily, eagerly tearing into the rich bee larvae and sweet honey to replenish its fading energy. Across the vast dry plains of East Africa, dawn reveals a creature that fears nothing, stepping out to begin another day. Her thick skin bears the marks of countless battles, including a deep crescent scar earned from a python 2 seasons ago. Behind her emerges a tiny cub, completely dependent on her ability to find food in an increasingly unforgiving and parched landscape. A single cub demands nearly half her daily calorie intake, turning every single morning into an urgent race against severe starvation. Her acute sense of smell catches the faintest trace of wild honey drifting from a distant dead acacia across the valley. She sets off at a steady, tireless trot across the sun-baked earth, with her clumsy cub trailing closely in her footsteps. Before reaching the main prize, she pauses to excavate a small burrow, testing the dry soil with her razor-sharp, curved claws. She passes a nutritious beetle to the hungry youngster, a temporary reward to keep his strength up during the long march. Her heavy front claws are built like pickaxes, capable of slicing through rock-hard clay and tearing through solid tree trunks effortlessly. The morning sun climbs higher, heating the red dirt and reminding the mother that larger predators will soon begin their patrol. Ahead stands a weathered, hollow acacia tree, surrounded by a faint, dark cloud of thousands of defensive African honeybees. She nudges her vulnerable cub into the protective shelter of a thorny thicket before tackling the dangerous prize waiting above. Wild African bees carry intense, highly defensive venom, but to a hungry honey badger, pain is entirely secondary to rich nutrition. With total determination in her dark eyes, she secures her footing against the gnarled bark, preparing to raid the towering hive. As the furious swarm descends to defend their colony, the Savannah's most fearless raider begins her relentless ascent into total chaos. Using her formidable front claws, she rips open the wooden hollow, exposing thick slabs of golden comb dripping with nutrient-rich honey. Hundreds of furious bees sting her face and neck, but her loose, rubbery skin is nearly 6 millimeters thick, effortlessly deflecting them. Clamping a large section of honeycomb between her powerful jaws, she carefully descends the tree, ignoring the raging swarm around her. She drops the sweet prize at the base of the thorn bush, giving a low, guttural chuff to summon her cub. The young cub rushes out hungrily, eagerly tearing into the rich bee larvae and sweet honey to replenish its fading energy. Mother stands guard beside him, vigorously shaking her thick silver-white mantle to dislodge the last of the persistent attacking bees. She consumes the remaining comb in seconds, absorbing vital calories before the intense heat of the mid-morning forces them to keep moving. With the bee colony left in ruins behind them, the pair resumes their steady trek across the rapidly drying grasslands. As midday approaches, the blazing sun bakes the cracked plains, creating shimmering heat mirages that blur the distant acacia trees. They reach a rugged outcrop of weathered granite rocks, where deep fissures offer both temporary shade and potential hidden prey. She tucks her cubs safely beneath the overhang of a sun-warmed boulder, commanding it to stay hidden in the cool shadows. Her sharp nose immediately catches a pungent, reptilian musk lingering in the dry breeze near a narrow split in the stone. She approaches the dark crevice with quiet confidence, knowing that venomous reptiles often seek shelter from the scorching overhead sun. A sharp, menacing hiss echoes from the deep crack, as 2 cold, slit-pupil eyes glint within the darkness of the rock. Instead of retreating, the fearless mother bares her teeth and drops low, ready to face whatever lethal threat lurks inside. A massive spitting cobra slithers from the shadowed crevice, flaring its iconic wide hood and hissing violently in the midday sun. The serpent sprays a blinding stream of venom, but the badger deftly angles her head, shielding her eyes with thick brow ridges. Unfazed by the venomous spray, the fearless mother circles relentlessly, forcing the agitated cobra to constantly reorient its defensive posture. The cobra strikes with blinding speed, but the honey badger uses her remarkable agility to evade the deadly fangs by inches. Her thick, loose skin allows her to twist freely, transforming what would be a fatal bite into a glancing, harmless blow. Seizing the split-second opening, she lunges forward and slams her heavy clawed paw directly onto the snake's muscular neck. She immediately begins consuming the serpent head first, breaking down the venom glands to neutralize any remaining chemical danger safely. Residual venom absorbed during the intense struggle begins circulating in her bloodstream, slowing her breathing and clouding her senses. Overwhelmed by the potent neurotoxin, the mother collapses onto the warm granite slab, entering a temporary, coma-like survival trance. From the safety of the shaded overhang, her young cub watches anxiously, unsure why its fearless protector lies completely motionless. As the afternoon sun shifts across the rocky plateau, her specialized internal receptors work tirelessly to break down the lethal poison. 2 hours later, her eyelids twitch, her claws dig into the dirt, and her miraculous genetic immunity takes full effect. She pushes herself up, shakes off the deep lethargy, and finishes swallowing the remaining portion of the nutritious snake carcass. Reunited with her cub, she leads him down from the rocky heats, unaware that Africa's apex predator is already stalking nearby. As golden light filters through the acacia thicket, the savanna grows deceptively quiet, signaling the start of the evening hunt. Lurking in the tall, bleached grass, an experienced lioness locks her amber gaze onto the moving shapes below. A sudden shift in the breeze carries the musky scent of a big cat, instantly triggering the mother's battle instincts. Weighing over 130 kilograms, the hungry predator stalks forward with silent, calculated precision. Without a moment of hesitation, the mother badger shoves her small cub deep inside the tangled roots of a fallen tree. Turning her back on retreat, she steps out into the open to intercept the massive hunter head-on. The size difference is overwhelming, but the honey badger knows that backing down now means certain death for her offspring. She puffs out her silver-white mantle, bares her razor-sharp teeth, and unleashes a deafening, terrifying, rattling roar. Startled by the sheer ferocity of the tiny creature, the lioness halts her advance, flattening her ears in irritation. Every muscle in the mother's compact frame coils tight, prepared to fight to the very last breath. The lioness extends a massive clawed paw to test her target, attempting to pin the snarling mustelid to the ground. Using her loose, rubbery hide to slip the blow, the mother counters with a savage, fearless leap toward the lion's muzzle. Snapping jaws and sharp claws flash inches from her eyes, forcing the giant cat to recoil in sharp surprise. Realizing that this meal is far more dangerous than it is worth, the apex predator slowly turns and walks away. The savanna's fiercest defender holds her ground until the feline silhouette completely dissolves into the darkening evening shadows. With the danger gone, she returns to the root hollow, coaxing her trembling youngster out into the cool evening air. She inspects him quickly with a gentle lick, ensuring her sole offspring has emerged completely unscathed from the terrifying standoff. Side by side, they begin the final leg of their daily journey, heading toward the dry, sandy riverbed at dusk. The night air cools rapidly, bringing much-needed relief after a scorching day of relentless foraging and fierce territorial battles. Her young cub matches her steady pace, having witnessed firsthand what it takes to survive in a predator-dominated world. Across thousands of square miles of untamed wilderness, darkness descends, handing over the savanna to nocturnal hunters and deep shadows. Even in the fading twilight, her senses remain razor-sharp, scanning the darkened riverbanks for any lingering threats. Ahead stands their sanctuary, a deep subterranean den excavated beneath the reinforced roots of an ancient giant termite mound. With a few effortless strokes of her heavy front claws, she clears the entrance of wind-blown sand and debris. The exhausted cub slips eagerly into the dark, secure tunnel, safe from the freezing winds and prowling night predators. The battle-hardened mother pauses at the threshold, taking one last deep breath of the vast, quiet wilderness outside. Her scars tell the extraordinary story of an animal that simply refuses to surrender, regardless of the odds stacked against her. She turns and slips backward into the underground chamber, tucking herself closely around her sleeping cub to keep him warm. Tonight, mother and cub sleep with full bellies, having conquered bees, deadly venom, and the king of beasts in a single day. For in this untamed land, survival is never a permanent victory. It is only permission to try again tomorrow.